My name is Scott Broberg, financial planner, and I've been in the business for 7 years. Financial planner is really, we're going to begin with the end in mind. So if you think about, it's very much like taking a trip, and maybe your travel agent is going to help you along with that trip. So the first thing you do is decide where you want to go. If, for example, you decided to go to Hawaii, well, that immediately rules out the fact of driving a car. You're going to have to take a boat or you're going to have to take an airplane. So what we do is we take people's goals, and then starting with that, for example, it may be a goal of purchasing a house or paying for college or even saving money so that you can retire someday. We take that goal and we help create basically a roadmap to get there. So if you go back to the travel analogy, if you wanted to take a road trip in your car, you might go into MapQuest, put in your destination, and then MapQuest is going to create a map for you to get to where you want to go. And so what we'll do is we take our clients' goals, we put them into our own financial planning software, and that creates then essentially a roadmap for their money and into the future. And you know, just like any trip, there's no guarantees that it's going to work out exactly as planned. If you get on the road and you might run into a traffic jam or into a a detour or something from road work, but because you have a map and you've already planned ahead, it minimizes those detours, so to speak. And so the same thing with a financial plan. When you've planned ahead, it helps you along the way when life changes. Everybody has questions in life. No matter what age they're at, you can come up with questions about your money. So for instance, in high school, you may be asking, what do I do with this extra money that I have if you have a job? Well, when you get to college, you're still going to have questions about what you do with your money. When you get a first job or you're starting out in life, you're going to have questions about what you do with your money. So the short answer is everybody can use financial advice in some way, shape, or form. Now that there becomes a practicality issue of how much you would pay to get financial advice. So you may get your financial advice from other places when you're first starting out your career, and then eventually work your way into an office of a financial planner once you have more complexity to your financial situation. Well, again, very similar to my last answer, it would be today, as soon as possible. Because time is short, and we need to be able to make the most of the time that we have and the limited assets that all of us use in our lives. And we need to be able to take advantage of every moment that we have. So again, it goes back to the practicality issue, though, of where are you getting your financial advice. So when somebody's young and they're just beginning to save money, they may go to a financial planner and simply pay a one-time fee, a very small fee, to get some guidance to move ahead. Once you've then started accumulating more assets, it makes more sense then to have an ongoing relationship with a financial planner that you would pay on a regular basis. But essentially, again, it goes back to, at any age, we can all use advice on what to do with our money. The number one thing for me is a good fit. Now, a good fit with a financial planner really comes to a lot of intangibles. For instance, you want to have somebody that you're comfortable with, that you get a good sense that you can trust the person to help you. This is a very important thing that you're asking this person to do, and you want to be able to be sure that you feel comfortable approaching them for advice. You want to be able to feel that when you go in, you can share all of your financial information with that person. So that can be very difficult to open up all of your finances to an individual. The third one is you want to know how you're paying that person, and then you'd also want to have a sense that you're getting value from the money that you're paying them. If you paid somebody $3,000 but you could have gotten the same advice for $500, well then that's really, you're not getting the direct value for your money. So you want to be able to have a sense that you're getting value from the person. And if you're comfortable, you have a sense of getting value, and you feel like you're being organized and you're being led down a path and it's becoming clearer to you, then I would say that's how you know that that would be a good person to work with. The best advice that I could give to just about anybody out there is simply spend less than you earn. And that sounds so simple, yet we live in a society where everybody has the ability with a credit card to go spend more than they bring in a month. Now eventually that'll catch up to everybody to where you have to pay that back. But if over the course of a lifetime you spend less money than you bring in from your job, which ultimately means you're putting some amount back into savings, your probabilities of success go way up. And that goes for any income level. There are Hollywood stars that make $1 million a year and they spend $2 million. And that will not lead to financial success. So we always encourage people, whatever income level they're at, simply spend less than you earn is the best advice for everybody. So the best age for somebody to start thinking about their financial future is today. It's at any age you're at, you go from where you are in this present situation and you start to plan out things for the future. If you are thinking about your next step in life, so if you're in high school right now, you may be thinking, where am I going to be going to college? How am I going to pay for that? Do I need to work through college? Little things like that is going to make a big difference at any age. So when you get to college or you get out of high school and you're in your first job, now you're going to have decisions. What clothes do I buy? Where do I go live? What kind of car do I drive? Where do I shop? Do I shop at the more expensive grocery stores or the cheaper grocery stores? And all of those fall into your entire financial picture. And of course, any time that you can be getting guidance on that is going to be helping out anyone in life. So one of the biggest mistakes we see is, particularly with young people, is overspending on cars. It becomes very enticing to want to go out and get that more expensive vehicle because we feel the freedom of now being on our own, having some money, but then that vehicle comes with a cost. And so if I could give the young people one thing to avoid, save up money and buy a car on your own. Don't go out and be financing a vehicle. When I was 16, I got a job working at a restaurant because I wanted to buy a car. So the first car I bought was $500. It was a 1968 Chevy Bel Air, and I drove it until the wheels fell off. But what it did was it gave me a vehicle, and it taught me to plan ahead to save the money to buy the car. And of course, then I didn't have the debt of having car payments for a long period of time. One of the best habits is you're almost going to be your own financial planner. You're going to decide what are the goals that are most important to me. And then based on that, you're going to set the goal of what you want to do and then save the money to get there. Of course, I've alluded to this, we live in a society that tends to be backwards. We get a credit card, we go do whatever we can to get what we want, and then try to figure out how we're going to pay that off later. And of course, that costs money to borrow it in the form of interest. So As a young person, the best thing you can do is plan ahead, set your goals of whether it's clothes or a place to live or a car that you want to own, and then save the money up for that in liquid, and then go out and make that purchase.